Hi, everyone. I am Meagan Washington. I'm just realizing next week will make 10 years at Hunter. I started in the humanities department when I was a graduate student. I teach in the English department, and I also teach at City Tech in the African American Studies department. So my theme is around sort of the first day, the uh, week zero. So before your students come in, then what to do to prepare when your students are in a classroom, and then what to do with that engagement going forward. So I actually started with telephone numbers. This is really important. I have been locked out of my classroom before and had to call campus security a couple of times. Not very many, but I also teach 8:30 classes, so sometimes my classroom's just not open yet. I also think that having the number for the IT, the AV department that we were just talking about, is important in case your monitor isn't working, if your audio isn't working. They are really quick and they're really helpful. Sometimes it's really simple what they have to do, and sometimes it's much more involved. So it's always good to have those numbers just already in your phone so you can call. I also have the lab department. So if you ever work in a lab, that's the PCSIT. They are different and they come and they help in the labs if you ever need a door opened or if you need any of your technology to be fixed. I also have the help desk in my phone as well, just for any sort of tips. There's always something that is happening. Um, Another service that I really wish that I knew about earlier on was the duplicating office. So we have a limited number of printers in our offices and even in our departments. And so it's really good to send things to duplicating. And they do have, and I have it saved, I'll share it in a bit, an email where you can send your prints from home, right? From your own computer. So before you had to have a little card and you had to bring it in. But again, because I teach at 8:30 and they start at 10 a.m., I believe is when they open, it was too late, right? I was just had to make do with what I had for a while. So having access to the duplicating office, having your prints for your syllabus already ready, they make booklets, any sort of printouts that you want to have. I've kind of gone back to analog in my English classes. So we are doing handouts, and I do ask them sometimes if they don't need the handouts, they can just give it back and I can recycle those things. I do think it's really good if you already have access, but I know if you are onboarding earlier, you may not have access to your bright space. But if you can, just to send a first day announcement. I just finished summer school and grades are due today. And there's so many orientations happening on campus, but not all students get to have orientation. So letting them know, hey, you should probably come to campus a little earlier than the class, learn the layout of the campus, right? What's the north building? What's the north building? Where is the east building? Where is the library? Because that can be a confusing conversation about it's in the east building, but it's don't go in the elevators, right? You have to go through the other machines. Also, where Thomas Hunter is, I remember being very confused my first day on campus. So I would say also to take a tour yourself if you haven't been to campus, just to get familiarized where things are. Um, Also, if you have C on your room number, that's the basement in Hunter North. So that's also something to know that I didn't know. I was spiraling the first time I had a room down there. So that's a really good thing to know. And to also ask your students to know their net IDs, because if you are working in labs, they'll have to know that. And that number is different from their login number. So just making sure that they have those things already ready so they have them accessible is really important. I work in labs, and to get into the lab computers, you have to have your net ID. So you can minimize how much time is spent looking around for things by knowing that there are differentiations between these things. Speaking of that, On the first day of class, I always send out a extra credit email because not all students will have their information accurately put into CUNY first. And there have been times where it's been 3 months and we're about to end school, and students are like, I've never received that email from you. What are you talking about? So on the very first day of class, I tell them, you have to respond to my email. And I sort of give them a template of how to respond, the sort of professional email. And then I say, as soon as you respond, extra credit. And so this is just to make sure that they can communicate with me and that they're receiving information that is coming through Brightspace. So that is really a great way of making sure that the technology is working, that there are open lines of communication, and it just is fun because they get extra credit and they're more readily able to do it and to respond once they see that there is an incentive here. On the first day of class, I am pretty much reading the syllabus and looking at the course schedule, but I really like to do my own student information handout. And it's sort of non-invasive questions about, okay, what is the first language you learned? How many languages do you speak? What is your, do you have extracurriculars? Do you work, right? Full time, part time, and they're usually readily available for that information. And then I have a section about, is there anything you would like me to know about you? And that's been really helpful recently because things like last semester, I had a lot of students in the National Guard, and there were issues where they were not able to come to campus. So that just gave me some insight when I was noticing people not being around. So just having those sort of student information sheets help me to familiarize myself with my students, but it also helps me gain some insights about who is in my room. Uh, on that same note, I think, let me make sure I remember. Oh, for small groups, I like to do small groups also in the first couple of classes. So I do introductions that are just, hey, what's your name? What's your pronouns? How would you prefer me to refer to you in class? And then a question related to the class. But I also, by the second class, like to have them go into small groups where they could talk to one another. A big thing that I hear both at City Tech and at Hunter is that students are very nervous on the first day, just as we might be nervous on the first day, and are in a new campus, maybe, are a transfer student, you never know. So I like for them to sort of get together in small groups, and I give them about 10 minutes together, right? There's always a reading assignment connected to it, but much of the time it's, hey, what do you know about Hunter? Do you have any tips? So they also are teaching me what's happening on campus because I'm not always plugged in. And they're also getting connected with one another because usually students will sit in the same area. Usually by the first week of school, it sort of crystallizes where they sit. So getting to know the people around you so that they have people to communicate with when they are absent or need anything. And the last thing is having visits from other people in the campus. So whether you're teaching whatever department you're teaching in, I like to have the counseling and wellness services come in and just talk to the students about the sessions that they could have for free on campus. I also like to have a visit with the librarian because I teach English 120 and 220. We have to have those librarians, but even when I don't teach those classes, I love to ask a librarian to come in and help the students with research tools. And Jack, who is in the Zoom land from the Writing Center, I always love to have a representative from the Writing Center come in and talk to the students. And Jack does a great job of talking about just because you hear the word tutoring, people have an association that only people who are struggling need to go to the Writing Center, but to really take advantage of all the resources that we have on campus. I also post with their CUNY First card all of the museums they get in for free. So the Guggenheim, the Whitney, the MoMA, there's so many more. So I also let them know these are the advantages and like try to take advantage of them as much as possible while you're here. Get that Microsoft Office, the whole suite if you can, and have that accessible to you. So those are my tips.